Hi, everybody. Welcome to Fiction in Real Life. I'm Jennifer Moore, and I'm joined by Heather B. Moore, Julie Daines, and today we have a special guest. Shelley Brown is here with us. And Shelley, will you introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your books before we start?
Yeah, I am a children's book author primarily, and I've written books on my own, like scary stories, but also I write books with my husband, contemporary fiction, like Mustaches for Maddie, Squint, Willa and the Whale, The Wild Journey of Juniper Berry, Virtually Me, and I think that's all right now, but we are still writing, so more to come.
And there's the Ghost Babysitter book. Is that that's what you meant?
Ghost Sitter. Yeah. That one I wrote all by myself, though. All by myself.
Well, you should definitely mention it because I loved it. It was very cool.
Thanks. I do love scary things. That's why I brought a scary story with me.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I do too. So does Julie. So we are giving away, if you leave a comment here or on wherever you're seeing this, you might be watching on YouTube or on our Facebook pages. Maybe we can figure out how to put it on Shelley's Facebook page. I don't know if we know how to do that, but we might. And just wherever you leave a comment, we'll just enter you to be a winner of this Wild Journey of Juniper Berry. And this book, I know, just barely won a Whitney Award a couple weeks ago. So it's has accolades.
It is accoladed.
It's accoladed.
Yeah, it won.
It won like other stuff too, right?
Did it? Okay, tell us about that.
Well, I got Kirkus Book of the Year. And of the middle grade genre.
So awesome.
Yeah, that's the first time we pulled that one off. So
that's kind of a big fat deal. So that's awesome.
And then other states and stuff. So.
Okay. So we'll start. Shelley has got a scary story for us. So buckle in, boys and girls.
Okay. I wish this story was my story. Like when you were like explaining what you guys do on this podcast, I immediately knew what I was thinking of, but it was like, it isn't my story, but I did get permission to make it my story. Okay. So, this story actually happened to my cousin Jenny, and she is telling the story. It's about this hotel called the Meanger. It is in San Antonio, and it is on the grounds of the Alamo. So like it's not the building of the Alamo, like the actual, but like on the battlegrounds, okay, where they built this. In 1859, they completed the building of this hotel, and so it's been around for a long time. It was used as a hospital during the Civil War. Like it's seen some things. It was Teddy Roosevelt gathered his troops for, what was that group called? His like troopy guys. Anyways, that's what he did. He's got like a name for it, but it just slipped my mind and it's not going to come back. But Teddy Roosevelt gathered his troops there to go out to Cuba. Anybody? Anyways.
I'm trying to look it up so I look smart, but I don't know. They met in Mexico to go to Cuba. Oh, I guess it's down there. I guess.
I don't know.
I know it feels off, but geographically, I think it does match up.
It's probably, as good as any place.
Yeah. Anyways, he got his men there. So like that was like his like one of his gathering places. It's just got a ton of really cool history that happened literally on those grounds. And if you get a chance to go to this hotel, you can walk around and you can see like they have display boxes and stuff, but it is like fancy hotel. Okay. This is a very fancy hotel there. Every little corner is all decorated. Now they've expanded this hotel quite a bit and made it huge. Which is really cool. But my cousin, who has no interest in ghosts, like she's like somewhere in high school, I made that decision that I have, like, I'd like to stay perfectly clear of Ouija boards, and like she has no interest in like haunted houses, even. Like, I am good. No, scary movies. I'm good. you know, like, she finds herself at this hotel, and that's because they're there at a dermatology convention. She's the manager, so she's like the oldest of all of these younger dermatology helper girls. They have names, but I don't remember, MAs or whatever they're called. And she's like over these assistants, and they get hotel rooms, but it is booked. Like San Antonio can get booked. And so they like literally the lady booking it was like, I couldn't find any other place. Like I had to send you to this haunted hotel, and I'm so sorry. But it's just 2 sets of girls, my cousin and one girl, and then 2 other girls, and they're just gonna have 2 hotel rooms, and they're gonna make it work, you know, like it's just for the conference. We'll have a great time. We're going out to dinner. You're not even gonna be there that often. And so she put my cousin in there on purpose. She's the manager, and she's just level-headed, right? She's not interested in hocus pocusy kind of stuff. It's gonna be just fine. But one of the things she said was you can tell the minute you step over into the old part of the hotel. She goes, it was just creepy. It's just like goosebumpy when you step over, and then you go back in and you're like, this is not the same place. This is not the same like air that you're in. And so the first couple days were just fine. Her roommate is this like 7+ month pregnant girl having her first kid. One of those nights they're up, they had all, you know, the girls all talked to each other in the lobby for a long time, and then they went up to their rooms and they climb into bed, and she's talking to this pregnant girl who's, you know, just pregnant with her first and stuff, and they're talking about life, you know, really deep kind of stuff. And the pregnant girl mentions that her father passed away, and that recently she had a dream that her father had come to her and talked to her. And she was like, do you think that that's crazy? Like, is that weird? Is that weird that that's, am I making that up? Is my brain making that up? Or do you feel like that could be true? My cousin's like, that I really do feel like that could be true. Like that's something, you know, that I think that could really happen. And she's like, it's not like it's just a mischievous spirit trying to cause problems. And she goes, the lights in our room turned on. And she goes, you need to understand a couple things about these lights. We're nowhere near being able to reach them. There was no accident that could have possibly turned these lights on. And 2, they're on a dimmer, and we've never been able to turn them on and off. Like they don't turn on and off. They go up and down. And she goes, and the lights turned on, and we're both sitting there. And she goes, and neither one of us could like talk or do anything. She's like, there's this big vaulted ceiling, and there's like that beautiful light right above, like forever above us, you know, feet and feet and feet in the air. And they're just like kind of staring at it like, what just happened? And she goes, I blame myself. Why did I have to say that out loud? Like what I'm in a haunted hotel. Why would I say it's not like it's just some mischievous spirit trying to cause, you know, like I think, let me look. She gave me the exact quote, trying to manifest itself. Those were her words. Not just some mischievous spirit trying to manifest itself, lights on. She goes, my heart was beating so hard, but I knew I was like the grown-up in the room, okay? She's like, and they're sharing a queen bed. She's like, I was like, what am I gonna do? And she's like, I can't move. So she just gets her cell phone and she calls the other girls. And she calls them and she's like, hello, could you guys please come to my room? And they're like, no, we're in our pajamas. Like, is this really important? And she's like, yes. And she's like, I am this close to like pulling the manager card out and being like, I am your manager. Get over here now.
Save me. Yeah.
Because she is like panicked. And the other girl is like shaking, and she's like, please. And so they come in their pajamas, and they're both laying there, and she's like, let's look at this cute video. The one, this will date it. It was the one with the otters holding hands floating on the water. Oh, okay. Yeah. So they're like watching that on repeat because they're that scared. Okay. They're watching the otters hold hands on repeat, floating in the water. And they hear the girls' voices, and they hear knock, knock, and the lights go out. Complete blackness. She said, I had been working myself up to the fact I was going to have to get out of that bed and walk over there. And she goes, I was like, I'm the oldest here. I need to do it. Like, I can do it. I can do this. But now it's pitch black in that room. And she goes, we screamed. She goes, but my scream is the most absurd sounding, laughy, weird thing. So she's like, I'm sure from the other side of the door, they're hearing me going. She's like, they're thinking like we're like doing some sort of prank or something. And she's like, oh my gosh. And she's on the far, like the door's over here, and she's on the far side. And she's like, I'm not walking all the way around that bed. I'm pushing that 7-month pregnant woman out of the bed. I'm like, we're both going to that door now. And I'm not like straightest shot to that door. And so she's like pushing this woman like out of the bed, and the girl's like, what are you doing? And they're like, get out. And they like run to the door, and they open it, and the other girls have started walking away because they're like, this is ridiculous. And they're like, let's go. And like the girls are like, aren't you gonna shut your door? And they're like, don't care, keep going. And they're like, what, do you even have a key? And they're like, no, we don't have a key, we don't care, can you please keep walking? They're like, go. And like the girls were like, okay, like totally crazy. They start going down the stairs, and they're the elevator system, I mean, it's probably just as haunted. So they're going down these like layers of stairs to get down to the lobby as fast as they can. And on one of those levels of stairs, she said it was a little bit lobbyish on each level as they go down and around. There was a guy holding a book, and the girl who was pregnant saw the book, thought it was floating, screamed. She's like, I didn't even think about it. I started running right back up those stairs. She goes, I was like 2 flights up before my brain went, nobody's following you. Nobody's coming with you. You need to go back to where everybody else is. She goes, and as I'm coming down, the other girls are like picking up the pregnant woman who apparently had like kind of collapsed. And I would never have included this part in the story if they hadn't both given me permission. But that chick peed her pants. She was so scared. Now, the book was not actually floating. There was nothing to actually be afraid of in that moment. But that was the first time those other girls were like, whoa, you guys aren't pranking us. Like, this isn't a joke to you. And they're like, this is not a joke to us.
Right.
And they go down to the lobby. Now they're in the lobby, and they're like, what do we do? They're like, I'll go ask for another key. So my cousin goes to ask the receptionist, and she's like, hey, accidentally locked our key in the room, wondering if we could get another key. And the girl's like, yeah, sure, of course, like, sorry about that. And she's like, so do you have a lot of like haunting things? Like, our lights just like popped on. And she's like, oh, that's pretty common. That's like, yeah, we get that kind of stuff a lot. And she's like, they're mischievous, but they're not evil, like mean-spirited. Like, they've never done anything like really, really evil, but they do a lot of really mischievous things. She was like, it's one of the things we get the most is that they can't open their closet doors. And Jenny pointed out that these closets are like weirdly deep. I don't know why, but she goes, people will come and they'll say, I can't open my closet. And I can hear somebody in there giggling and laughing and talking to each other as they're like holding my door. Like, I can feel it as I'm like trying to open my door. And they're like, so somebody's in here. We need security. Somebody's in our closet. And they're like, without fail, security goes, poop. There's nobody in this closet. And they're like, I'm leaving. So Jenny's like, well, I feel better now. Thanks so much for that story. She goes and shares it with the other girl, and they're like, they've both decided nobody will go in that closet. That closet will stay shut. We will ignore the fact that closet exists in our room if we have to go back. They tried their best to like just never have to go back to their room, but it's 4 grown women in the lobby in their pajamas, and the other girls were like, get out of here.
Yeah.
We're going to bed. We have conference tomorrow. And so Jenny and this girl, they're like, okay, fine, we'll go back. And they make their way back to the room. They shut that closet. And they're like, that's it. That's it. We're going to bed. And she goes, we actually did get to sleep at that point. In the morning, it seemed okay. But I called the like main lady who booked stuff and said, we're not staying here one more night. And the lady was like, yeah, I can find you someplace now. Like it was just during the weekend part, you know.
Mhm.
She's like, we'll find you another place. And she found them another place. And so they packed their stuff up and they kind of set it by the door and they were ready to go. They went out to the conference and then they were going to come back and then take their stuff once they knew where the new place was and stuff. Jenny ends up coming back by herself. Just happens that way. We've all been to conferences. Sometimes you lose people. She ends up coming back by herself and she opens her door and the tables, what are those side tables to like beside her bed, were pulled out into the middle of the room and turned like at weird angles. And the chair, like, you know, the chair you sit in, like was in the middle of the room too at another weird angle. And she was like, and the closet was open. And she was like, we did not open that closet. We didn't do any of this. She's like, I got my stuff. I left my door open and I just sat on the bed and was like, she's got to be here soon because we got to go.
Oh my gosh.
The girl came in. She's 7 months pregnant, went straight to the bathroom, right? Popped out of the bathroom and was like, Jenny, this isn't funny. Like, and Jenny was like, it wasn't me. Let's go. Get your stuff. We're leaving. I'm not laughing. We're leaving. And they left. As they were checking out, they asked, like, has like, you know, like room service been up to our room, like the housekeepers? And they're like, no, that's in the afternoon. She's like, not okay. So that is that story. I did look it up to make sure I was saying the name of the hotel right, and found another family who had gone to the hotel. This is not that exciting of a story, but I thought it was really interesting because it was just this last month. They went to the same hotel. They walked in, they walked to their rooms, and the dad's like, it's beautiful. It's all elegant. He goes, and then we get to like the hall where you go to your room. And he goes, it's The Shining. Like, it's just creepy. And he goes, we get to our room and my kids are in tears and they're like, you can't make us stay here. And he goes, from the oldest to the youngest, nobody would stay in this hotel. He's like, all of them were totally creeped out. And they were like, I don't like it. It doesn't feel right. And he was kind of like laughing about it. And his wife was like, you better listen to these kids. Like,
Yeah. Right.
Interesting.
There you go. There it is.
I feel like
That
they
is
need like,
great.
yeah, they need like a brochure that says this could happen. Like, you know, watch out for these signs. And it just like they're regular signs because I don't know. It's just creepy if you don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and that's the funny part is that, again, there's that most of the hotel is in the fancy side, right?
Yeah.
That's not creepy.
But there's the old, yep. Do you know, my sister and I went to Tonopah stay in the Mizpah. It's like the most haunted hotel. And it was the same. Like we went in and there's kind of a vault. I don't really know I don't know what the original layout was where there was a vault. That was the creepiest, just like, and they had a little bit of a museum in there. And I was like, I got to get out of here. I am creeped out. So, and Rough Riders is Teddy Roosevelt's group.
Yes, the Rough Riders. Thank you.
So, anyway, I will start off. I would definitely book it. I love haunted stuff. I love it. And I love it even better when it doesn't make sense. Like it wasn't like a haunting.
There's no answer. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't get an answer to something they asked. The furniture is just weird. Or, you know, it wasn't like, let's solve the mystery of who was murdered in this old silver mine collapse. And it wasn't like that. It was like furniture weird, lights on or stuff. I love that. Heather, what about you? Would you book it?
Yeah, I think it'd be super fun to book something like that. Like make it more of like kind of a comedy too, like where it is a little bit spooky, but it's not like Shelley said, like the person at the front desk was like, they're not evil, they're just mischievous, you know? So I think that would be fun to do it like with that kind of, I don't know, atmosphere.
And she, by the way, mentioned that she wears only hoops that close. She goes, because all of the time I would be working and because she works night shift and her earrings would just shoot out of her ears.
Oh my
I'm
God.
sick of it.
What, Julie, what about you? I mean, we all know.
Yeah.
Surprise,
Yes.
surprise. I mean, already I'm Googling how I can find a hotel room at that hotel and stay there, right? Because that is definitely my cup of tea. I would love that. Love haunted stuff. It would be a super cute comedy romance. It would be a really cool, creepy, scary, which is probably the direction I'd want to go, is kind of just that creepy ghost thing. But that's a great story. And
That's a good story.
it's super cool. And I can imagine how just petrified they were. Because when you're telling the story and you're like, and the lights came on, and everyone's like,
Okay.
when you're in that situation, it is super freaky. So
Because there's no reason. There's no
Yep.
reason.
There's no reason. And then you can't see
Yeah.
what caused whatever.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is just not seeing something or not knowing exactly what. Yeah.
So
Oh,
I loved it. I really did. That was great.
nice. Well, thank you. Thanks, Shelley.
Yeah,
That was just
thanks for
perfect. That was a great episode. So remember, if you would like to win, I wrote down the wild journey of Juniper Berry. Leave a comment. And also, we love when we get the emails with your funny stories or scary stories or weird stories or unexplained stories. You can send them into fictionirlauthors@gmail.com, and they're great. And we love them, and we like putting them together and making a great episode with your stories.
Yeah.
So thank you. And we'll see you next time on
Fiction in
Real
Life.
Thanks, Jelly.